This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately.
Hey, what's going on, freaks? Little malfunction there on the music. Well, what's going on, everybody? We are 2 days from the end of the month. Which is good. We're quite a ways behind last month, but last month was pretty good. So it won't be the same as last month, but we'll still gonna make things happen. Hey, thanks, Cheryl Bullock. Looks like it might be, maybe we might be like 3,000 or something less than the income coming in. We'll see. But, I tried. Thank you, Cheryl Bullock. Yeah, so I've done I've got like basically the video portion and of the 12 minutes. It's basically, well, it's really about 15 minutes of time at real time. So you can see what was going on with Kohberger and how much actual time there is. There's a lot of people that are really confused about the, oh wow, how could one person do this in this short amount of time? And when you watch this, I think you'll realize at that point that you're just kind of not really picturing things correctly. Like have you ever sat around and looked at a clock for 6 minutes? It's a really long time. It's not a long time in terms of the world, but like, 6 minutes is a long time when you're just staring at a clock. But it wasn't staring at a clock, Ray. Yeah. Let's see. Well, everybody's still saying hello, so there's really nothing to read. I did talk to Jen H today. She's, she's hanging out. She's in the hospital, but sounds like there's some good things coming. So, put out some positive vibes for Jen H again. I mean, she's probably one of the, like, for somebody battling like she is, she's so upbeat. It's amazing. I don't know how anybody can do that. Pretty amazing. So if you guys could put in the prayer hands or the freak heart wave, that'd be cool. Like that. Boom. So anyways, I'm not sure what you guys want to do on here first. There's some updates we could do. Hold on. Now, just before the show started, somebody sent me an article about somebody who was murdered in California, and they think it might be related to the Rachel Morin. So I thought we'd take a look at that. I don't know for certain. I mean, it doesn't. They actually have a suspect. You would think they would immediately throw that out there. Thanks, Jillian Pearson.
Chewbacca?
I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to.
Love, vibes, and prayers to Jen
Thanks,
H.
Jim Long. What the hell is a gigawatt? It's a really big watt. That's what that is. So let's take a look at some of these other news articles. And then there's this crazy kind of cold case of a missing person and a murdered individual. And the murdered individual is the daughter of the missing person. So we'll go over that one. Of course, that one's newspapers.com, you guys. A lot of reading. So hopefully we can get to the goal before that, because whew, once you start reading, boy, that thing just... it is interesting. Ashy snow, 8 months.
What the hell is a gigawatt hell?
I don't know what a gigawatt is. Don't know. Yeah, so, well, first we'll go over this part right here. You know that shooter in North Carolina at the college, professor was killed? There's a, man. I bought one of those thermoses a while ago, and it puts up ads. What a joke. So it tells us a little bit about that guy. I mean, it's pretty weird, you know. He's from China. University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill graduate student Taili Key has been charged with first-degree murder and having a gun on educational property in connection with a shooting on school campus Monday, according to court documents. The shooting incident that left Zili Yan, an associate professor in the Department of Applied Physical Sciences, dead, prompted a lockdown around 1 p.m. in UNC Chapel Hill school building. So this is something that happened yesterday. Yeah, let me just get through it myself. Okay, thanks. This loss is devastating, and this shooting damages the trust and safety that we so often take for granted in our campus community. Authorities did say that if Key 34 specifically targeted Yan,
Let the reading begin.
they have not revealed a motive behind the killing. No other injuries were reported. So it says, Key, who was allegedly armed with a 9mm pistol, was taken into police custody around 2:31 p.m. The suspect is scheduled to appear in court. In posts from Key's apparent social media pages, he sought new friends. You know, so maybe he was one of those kind of like lonely people. It's weird how people always want to type in, "Hey, I already found out something." You know, let me just go through the article. It's not a big deal, you know. It's like just would like to make some friends, he wrote in July tweet. I am second year PhD student. So he's already got his master's degree. Now he's going for a doctorate. And this is what he wrote. I'm a second year PhD student interested in nanoparticle synthesis, optical trapping, self-assembly, spectra analysis, and ML. A bit stupid in my daily trifles. So it sounds like he's one of those awkward, you know, socially awkward people. Very enthusiastic, talking about research. Right? In a June post, he complained about many counterintuitive situations in society, stating minimum wage do more harm to instead, minimum wage do more harm to instead to protect the poor, gender quotas not to protect women but to enhance the discrimination. Yeah, I mean, those are sort of similar, like affirmative action. Like if you're only getting hired to fill a quota, people. I mean, I don't even know. You know, the thing is, there's some of the stuff I was reading, going, oh, it's not crazy shit. I mean, in May he posted for a PhD student. Pay much attention for a PhD student. Pay much attention to working time every day is really childish. I know many people want me to show them working, but they, so basically he's just saying people want to. So that might be about the teacher saying you don't seem to work too hard, but he's saying, hey, I know you guys want me to show that I'm working, but that's not human at all. Would like to make some new friends. I'm a second-year PhD student interested in nanoparticles. I mean, this guy's probably smarter than shit. I mean, have it be a PhD in a field like that, but he's probably one of those, like, really awkward, maybe he's a sociopath. Who the hell knows, right? Last year he posted that he was walking less every day and feeling more tired. Just because I spend too much time to persuade myself that I work just out of interest instead of to show others I'm working. So he works, yeah, it's not a, like he doesn't work as a game for politics. He does it because he likes to. He said in yet another bizarre tweet, I don't think that's really bizarre though. I mean, from last year he complained about people saying he is lazy and that to prove me working hard. So yeah, you sort of wonder if his professor was saying that he was lazy. And that's why he went in there. He apparently attended, and he also, listen to this crazy part, Wuhan University in China, attending Louisiana State University where he received his master's degree in science before heading to the nation's oldest state university in Chapel Hill, according to his LinkedIn profile. Hey, cool. Ria Mazarin. I decided to take a corner and investigate to see what was... Oh, this is something else. Graduate student, nanoparticle synthesis, light matter interaction, spectra analysis, machine learning. Man. What a waste of a brain that is in prison, right? God. Ridiculous. One of my friends worked with him in chemistry lab. However, he graduated this past year and was not there, he said. Overall, it was extremely unexpected. I'd always see stuff in the news, but never expected to see things like this in person, first hand taking place. Well, there you go. That's pretty weird. You know, like what was going on with him? In the Asian culture, a lot of times there's a lot of pressure on your, like, success, and there's a lot of pressure on appearing successful too. Okay, so you sort of wonder if, like, he was feeling, I mean, it's, you know, I mean, there's no, like, when I'm saying this, it's not an excuse for doing something. It's just saying, I'm wondering, you know, you always want to try to figure out what the hell happened, right? So maybe the advisor was saying that he was lazy, but he didn't feel like he was. Yeah, they have really high expectations, which is great. I mean, parents should have high expectations of their children. I think the Asian culture is way ahead of us at this point in terms of learning. I mean, we're an embarrassment, you know. So I think, you know, I wish we could get back to that, where we actually had students that, you know, learned actual things that matter, you know. Yeah, maybe, Maria. Who knows? Maybe we'll find out the answer to that at some other point. Let's see. And this is something that's just happening right now that I thought I'd bring up. 4 dead in Allen in apparent murder-suicide. The husband and wife, along with the family, 2 boys ages 12 and 2, were identified as victims by, the Islamic Association of Allen. So I don't know if this is like, what the purpose of this one is, but
Let's not forget Pearl Harbor.
yeah, I don't know what do you mean? What does Pearl Harbor have to do with, having high expectations of your kids in school? Let's see. Oh, look at that. Honey oats, those are good. Yeah, I think he's a sociopath or something. That's what I said. Yeah, it doesn't sound like he was out there to go start killing a whole bunch of students randomly, though. It's a little different, more of a targeted, anger towards one person. Thanks, Ashy Snow, for gifting. Allen police found 4 people dead Monday morning in what investigators say was an apparent murder-suicide. Officers were called about 8:45 a.m. to a home in the 1200 block of Aberdeen Drive near East Exchange Parkway and North Allen Heights Drive to perform a welfare check. Police said a resident of the house had been locked out of the house 2 hours, and other family members were not answering the door. Other relatives also came to the house, police said, and officers were able to enter the home where they found 4 dead people. Police said the slayings were the result of an apparent murder-suicide, but did not specify the exact nature of the deaths. Police have not released the names of the victims, but the Islamic Association of Allen identified the husband and wife as Farman and Layla Sherwani. The family's 2 boys, Shaheen and 12 and Mateen 2, were also killed, the mosque said. According to the mosque, the family's 4-year-old daughter, Leon, died 3 weeks ago. Oh, wow. After a drowning in a pool. Allen Police Sergeant Jonathan Manis said the drowning was a factor in Monday's slaying. That's kind of interesting. Allen ISD spokesman David Hicks confirmed one of the victims was a 5th grader who attended Olson Elementary School. According to Hicks, Olson Elementary parents received a letter from the school principal Monday about the death. The letter said counselors would be at the school Tuesday. We are all shocked and saddened by the news. An Islamic funeral prayer known as, I don't know if it's Janazah, was held for the family at the mosque a little after 5:30 p.m. Tuesday. They held 2 separate prayers for the 2 adults and the 2 boys. Before the prayer began, Imam Abdur Raham said the deaths are really hard to... Okay. Well, I don't really know. That's kind of a weird story, so I wonder what happened. Like after the drowning, was there a lot of shame or something? Or did one of them say, I'm going to leave you? And then, I guess we'll have to... I don't know if we'll ever get an answer for this one. But they said it was a factor. So maybe the one that survived, that was trying to get back in the house, has the answers. Thank you, Christy Lynn's. Was it Snow? Yeah, Snow. And thank you, Jim Lawn up there. Let's not forget. Pearl Harbor was a barbaric act. Had totally innocent people. But it has nothing to do with what we're talking about. The World War II, Japanese people were just absolutely... the military, not the people, was absolutely brutal to everyone. They're brutal in the Philippines. They're brutal to Hell, I think Chinese people. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. So, but in this case, this is a Chinese immigrant, and you know where he came from probably doesn't, other than sort of maybe the way he thinks and cultural possibilities of how he was thinking, it has really nothing to do with it. I mean, the thing is they're when somebody's a sociopath or psycho like that, I mean, you just they kill people sometimes when things don't go their way. Thanks, Catacomb Man. Okay, Slapstick, good for you. That's kind of a weird sentence. Oh yeah, thanks, Maxine Van Dyke up there. All right, well, guess what we're gonna do now? We're gonna do the 20 minutes. Thanks, Jason Freer. The 20 minutes of I want people that are watching right now. I'm gonna make the video is gonna be coming out like, I don't know, maybe tomorrow or something. Because it's really, I think I've got all the clips. I mean, part of it's just a black screen. Because that's the time where you have to just sort of use your imagination of what was happening. But you'll see how long these periods of time are just to make it work. I mean, in a 7-minute period. It's crazy. Okay? So I'm just going to play it here. Oh yeah, so here's one of the original videos up here. So I'm actually starting it at 4:05 just to sort of lead into it, right? So here you go. You got the vehicle entering into the area. It's 4:05 here. It's going to be passing the 500 Queen Road area here. And this actually has the whole fourth pass here. So here it comes in. And the clocks are totally synced up here. Because now I'm not trying to speed anything up or anything for the video. I'm actually showing you the real time. This is the actual time that this took right here. Alright? So just kind of focus in on it here. There he is. He backs up. 4:05, 4:06 basically. Right when the car pulls out of there. And then I think the time when the car stops and tries to turn around by the King Road residence, it probably tries to do stuff there for quite a while actually. So right in this spot right here where I have the vehicle, like it attempts to turn around or park or whatever it's doing, I think it sat there for a while. I think it was literally just like, maybe even watching again at that point. Because it needs to be there for a while or drive really, really slow. We don't really know for certain. So I think I have it sitting in that area until about 4:07. I don't know exactly. There you go. Like 4:07 and some odd second. So anyways, it was attempting to park, do whatever it was doing there. Then it comes over here and does the 3-point turn. That's the one that's listed in the affidavit. And it's going down. Now it passes Queen Road. And then it doesn't turn around this time. It actually finishes the loop. And then, so here it is. It comes around. It's actually moving quicker. Much quicker than the other loops. Comes around. And then here's where the car comes around right in this area. You can see it. Then it parks back there. And then I think he probably sat in the car and was preparing, maybe even changing clothes at this point. We don't really know. I think he sat in that car. So the car stopped there at 408. I doubt he just jumped out of the car. I bet you he looked up in the window and he was still trying to calculate, like, okay, let me make sure that they're asleep. And so, he's just still watching. And then maybe he changes clothes, or he just figures out everything one last time. Because he's going to go in there and he's going to do what he's going to do. And he could have gone in there, but then you're going to have way more time in there, you guys. You're going to have way more time. I think he went into the house at around 4:09 something, or 4:10. Okay, because you'll see what I'm talking about here. For the people out there that seem to not be able to picture that one person could do this, you'll see why here in a second. So it's back there waiting, watching, and then at some point you'll see a red dot come out, which will represent him heading towards that little patio area that you see there. It's going to be here in, I don't know, probably another 20 seconds or so. And I think this is around the time where, so there he goes. Heading down through the woods there. I have about 20 seconds for that. Gets onto the patio, and then here he goes into the patio, into the sliding glass door. And then he goes upstairs. I don't know where to put this. Maybe over here. Yeah. And looks in Kaylee's room. Maybe. We don't know. And goes into Madison's room. And now, look at how much time. Look at 4:10 and 21 seconds. This is all up to your imagination here now. What's going on in that room? He confronts Madison. Maybe Kaylee does come running from the other room, as one of the people in the chat said yesterday. Don't know. But if he had checked Kaylee's room, she would have been in Kaylee's room. But if Madison was the target, he wouldn't have looked into Kaylee's room, because he knows that he just needs to go down the one down the hall. So he might have been attacking Madison, and then Kaylee comes down. But I just want you to look how long this period of time is here. One thing I was thinking about earlier today was, what's possible is that he left the house before the 4:17 whimpering and dog barking, and that the sound of whimpering and the thud is somebody like I met Xana. She was trying to survive, and you hear her kind of whimpering, and then she falls and hits the ground again. Like she literally, maybe she tried to get up and do something, and then she's like, and then she goes boom and hits the ground, and she's all alone at that time. I mean, that's definitely a possibility, right? And he's already left, maybe at 4:16 or something. But anyways, look how much time is in Madison's room right here, you guys. Did you see how when I walked through the house, it was real speed? This is all real speed. There's nothing sped up. And we're looking at, this is over 2 minutes that he could have spent in Madison's room. So there's still people going, wow. I'm not Ford suck. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. So anyways, it's right here. You got 2 minutes here. And that was just some, what are you referring to? Anyway, what a stupid name. Get out of here. Jesus. If you can't have a good name, just get the hell out of here. I mean, that's ridiculous. Let's see. So now he leaves, and then there's Ethan, right? Oh wow, he was seen by somebody. So now he has to go down here. Ethan maybe tries to confront him right there, and look at this. I have all this time built in here. Look at this. Here we go. Yeah, anyways, I'll put it back here. Fords aren't really, I mean, Fords are, Pintos suck. I'll give them that. But Fords are good cars. Yeah, look at this. This is just after he confronted Ethan here, you guys. He just confronted Ethan here. Look how much time there is. Thanks, K-Me, and yes, you too. We're getting near the end of the month, you guys. If you want to help support this channel that relies completely on your generosity every single night, as there is no ad revenue, as I state every single night. So thank you. If you feel like this work here and the other work that I do is good, then I'd appreciate it. But isn't this amazing right here? He's confronting Ethan, and we have all this time. Look at this. It's 4:14. And we still got another, I put another, God, there must be another 30 seconds, 40 seconds on this one. So this is what I'm going to do in the video too. I'm going to talk during it, but it's just going to be dark here, and you're going to be able, you're going to need to picture what you think might be going on. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities with Ethan and Xana. I mean, she could have even gone up the stairs and, you know, heard something and came back down saying, hey, I think there's somebody here. And then he goes over there, and then that's when Kohberger comes down and kind of confronts Ethan, and then Xana goes running back into the room, and then so now he goes into the room. All that time just for Ethan. Now look at all this time for Xana now. So this is all just to make it work in to 4:17 when you know, you hear the dog bark and somebody whimpering and a thud. Yeah. So I mean, I'm not going to fill it in with like crazy battling and shit like that. It's just kind of dumb. Not really worth. This video that I'm putting out here is just so you can see the, you know, the generally accepted sort of order of events. Doesn't mean that that's exactly how it happened. And just give you a perspective of just how much time there is. What are you talking about, Maria? I like to do it the way I want to do it. Just the camera. What the hell does that even mean? Let's see. I mean, look how long this is. Now he's in there with Kaylee. So there's a lot of different elements here. He could have got into the house at like 4:14 even. I mean, you can start looking at things like that. This is almost too much time. You should stare at the camera. That's okay. It's 4:16. Anyways, right here. And then watch this right here. Hey, look at. I'm going to go back a little bit. See the little door in Dylan Mortensen's room? Here, I'll put it down here. I don't think the clock's really. Ah, Jesus, Paulette. Oh, God, Jesus. Zozo already typed it in. I saw what you said. It's not a big deal. All right, here we go. So he goes around the corner here. And then right there. See Dylan Mortensen's door is closed right there. Can you see that? Then watch. Oh. Bam. See, that's how fast it would be for him walking too. Might not have even just seen her. Comes around and then there it is. Oh, and then he just goes this way and then out. And yes, I moved it. Okay. And now it's 4:17, but I hope everybody can see now that it's not ludicrous at all. As a matter of fact, I gave way too much time to it. So here he is leaving the house, going up the bank there, and then likely he, for the next 2.5 minutes, he sits there and takes off the clothes that he had on, and takes them off, because again, 2.5 minutes. Look how long this is. Picture somebody taking their shoes, taking their gloves off, taking their pants off. They're doing all this stuff in this time that we're looking at right now. Easily could be done. Okay, so he could be out there already, but he's not going to get into his car until he's sure he's minimized the blood exposure inside that vehicle. So he's got a lot of time right here. You know what he could have even done is before he got into the house, he might have left like a plastic bag underneath the vehicle, like underneath a wheel or something. And then he goes in, and then when he comes back, he just grabs the bag and he starts, maybe he takes all of his clothes off first, and then somehow like takes the bag and then uses the inside of the bag to grab it and then flip it on itself like you do when you're collecting dog crap off the ground. I don't think he dressed in the woods. Yeah. Anyways, hey, look at that. Their poor family, when trial comes, this is awful, and it's not even the graphic stuff. Yeah. Huh? Are you okay? Ford, you seem like a troll. You got one more shot here. But look how long this is right here. Easily. Yeah, I just said he put a bag by the car. Not in the woods. Could be. Who the hell knows? No, he wouldn't get the car on the car the way I just said it, Zozo. I said he left the bag underneath the wheel, pulls it out, and changes clothes. I just said that. I don't know if you missed it or not, but... So that doesn't touch the vehicle. Well, you seem like one for it. Okay? Every one of your comments is ludicrous at this point. So if you come up with something rational, that'd be great. Right, that's exactly what they are. They're always the passive-aggressive types. And there it is, see? That took that whole time, and then it drives away. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's possible in the woods, He'd have to go try to find the bag again, because I think he would have left the bag underneath the wheel, something like that, and you just grab the bag. I think you would take your gloves off first, and all of your clothing, maybe all of your clothing, then the gloves, so that your hands don't have any blood on them. Then you grab the bag, and you grab all the items on the outside of it, and then you sort of wrap it in itself. And that way it's all the blood materials inside the bag, not on the outside. Something like that. So there you go. That's it. And definitely super chat worthy, don't you think? I mean, I noticed during that there was 0. So I think it'd be great if we could get the ball rolling here, get to the goal tonight. After that incredible display there. Yeah. I think Dylan Mortensen yelling at them. No, there was no Dylan Mortensen yelling at somebody. What are you talking about, Fiona? Nobody yelled at anything. Nobody yelled for anybody to be quiet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you could do it in the woods, but wouldn't you... I mean, how would you find the bag again? I mean... He also could have just put a bag in the kitchen and changed in there, right? I mean, you know, I mean, if the lights were off, I wouldn't sit there and do it with the lights were on. If he killed everybody, but I doubt it. I think he wanted to get the hell out of there as fast as possible. But he still needed to do what he needed to do to not to have the DNA on things. Thanks, Ashy Snow and Vicky Kennedy. Hey, Ford. Sorry, buddy. I gotta get rid of you. You're not interesting. At all. I mean, like, good luck elsewhere. Look at the wounds. The amount of victims and fighting back. What wounds? There is so much time in there, it's ridiculous. You think he was just having these massive battles with people? No. He finished off all the people, I think, relatively quickly. Especially the girls upstairs. I mean, they were sleeping. Yeah, sure, they could have fought back. But it's not taking minutes and minutes and minutes. That's when people start waking up and things happen. You know, people start calling 911 and things. I think these are quick and pretty quiet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't even know what that means. I mean, the cars he's talking about. Mm-hmm. But he had to travel down Taylor Avenue. You're wrong, AA. Sorry for your ignorance. Let's see. I don't think he saw Dylan and changed clothes by sliding a door. Huh? No, I didn't say he changed his clothes by the sliding door, did I? I already said he put his clothes in a bag. Yeah. I already said that. Thank you.
I don't think he saw Dylan and changed clothes by sliding door, put bloody clothes in bag. BC, he left no blood trail outside.
No, they didn't say that, AA. They didn't say that. And you have it completely wrong. I just want to know, like, see, people like AA show up, they're not really, like, their knowledge about the case is really low. So they just jump in with some sort of a comment to try to, you know, like, hey, maybe it's like this. But here's the thing. The vehicle made 4 loops, all right? On the 3rd loop, it took 16 extra minutes. So at that point, I'm not 16 extra. It took, each loop was about 8 minutes. That one was 16. So it took twice as long. So it is possible that right after loop number 2, it drove down like this and then maybe way over here and past the gas station over here and then took a longer way around. It's possible because they did see it over here at around a time that makes sense for pass number 3. Okay, that's the only pass it works for because it was like 3:40 something. And pass number 2 ends at 3:39. And pass number 3 begins at 3:58 or so, right? So the thing is during that time, no, it's 3:56, I think. 3:50, or is it 7? I can't remember exactly the time of the 3rd one. I think it begins at 3:56. So it could have driven by here and then came back. And then the final one is 4:04. So when AA is saying that, oh yeah, it drove by the other place over here, it's just dead wrong because after the murders, that's when he left the area and came down like this. And then his phone was turned on and pinged right here. And Kohberger will just say, oh, I was traveling around down there. Right. Okay. Exactly 23 minutes after the murders. Yep. I think the witness roommate would have seen that, huh? He didn't change at car. I think the car was covered in plastic inside. That is absolutely ludicrous to me. I mean, really? Like, he covered the whole car and he's going to drive around and that wouldn't look suspicious to anybody? I mean, it's, you know, I can't say it's not possible, right? That's still going to get blood. I mean, what? You cover the steering wheel with plastic, and then when you're taking it out, it's going to put blood on things. I think what you want to do is not bring blood into the vehicle itself. Thank you, Arky
That was a nice
Bean.
visual. It doesn't take Jason Bourne to commit a crime like this,
Right.
or even a decorated soldier. Makes me wonder about Bethany's subpoena by the defense.
What makes you wonder about that? Like, what are you thinking about it? I think they just wanted to, like, cross-examine her since she's the witness that saw the bushy eyebrows. Yeah, I think it is, Megan. Sorry. But you don't have to think so. I just think that's... I think what you'd want to do is not bring any blood into the vehicle or as little as possible. Because if you cover stuff with plastic and you go into the car, removing the plastic that has blood on it might transfer blood in various places in the vehicle. Right? Yeah. But hey, you know, it's an idea. You never know. You never know. Maybe he tried that too. Maybe he did both. He put his clothing in a bag, and then maybe he put plastic on the steering wheel so that if he had a little bit left on his hands, it wouldn't get onto the steering wheel. He could take it off later. But then it's like, you know, if you take, let's say you've got plastic on everything, and then you remove some of the plastic at the end, unless you remove every bit of the plastic at the same time and sort of fold it in on itself, it might transfer blood from some of the plastic onto the areas that you just removed the plastic from. So if you want, I could do it again. I mean, I'll turn off everything, even my own. All right. So here we go. I mean, yeah, I mean, someone says shower curtain. I mean, I guess, you know. Was there one missing? We don't know if there's one missing. But they did mention the bathroom next to Xana's room. And if that's the last spot, maybe that's where he got a shower curtain. Maybe, you know, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of time here that could be filled with him actually cleaning himself up before he leaves. You know, what if he wasn't wearing all black? Like, what if he had an absolute, like I mean, this sounds crazy. Watch, I'm going to say it anyways, though. But like a Tyvek suit type thing on when he originally went in there. And then after he kills Dylan and them, he takes all of that off, but he still has his black clothing under him so that he can, you know, leave the house and not be seen in the woods wearing all black. Something like that. Well, not Dylan, Xana is what I meant to say. So let's say after he killed Xana and Ethan, you know, he's got a whole different suit on, like something else that got covered with blood, because the only time that Dylan saw Kohberger was when he was leaving. Right? So that means when he was leaving, I mean, that's it. So if he had cleaned up and kind of took his clothes off prior to that, I mean, I wonder if Dylan saw him carrying anything. Does she remember anything like that? Did he have a backpack on or some sort of a bag? Because it would be sort of interesting that she only saw him when he was leaving. So is it possible then that he took off outer clothing of some sort, put it into a bag, maybe even in that bathroom or something, and then exits? But would he really want to spend that much time in the house? I mean, man, the nerve, I mean, it would take a lot of nerves to sit there and change. So I don't really know if there's like a, you know, I'm just, Tyvek suits, just, I'm just throwing it out there. But I don't think that, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he was doing. You know, we don't know anything about where he might have changed. And also, we don't even know for sure if they did or didn't find blood in Kohberger's vehicle. We just know that the defense claimed that. Oh, Jesus. Kill kit. I'm getting so sick of that when people try to use all the buzzwords. Well, he had a backpack with a kill kit in it. No, he brought a K-bar knife. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it could be the sliding glass door, but if it's lit there, it was lit in that area. Mag, so I don't know about that. Remember how there was those Christmas lights out there? I don't know if you'd want to be changing in where it was totally visible. Don't know. It could have been. No, I mean, I thought of that same thing a few minutes ago, Mag, but I was like, yeah, oh, wait, that's right. There was those Christmas lights. Remember those lights they had on? Seemed like it would make sense. Pretty easy place to change. But, man, it seems like you would just want to get the hell out of there as fast as possible, wouldn't you? So here it is. Yeah, that's what I was saying. We say howdy here on another show. It's like he's been pulled over so many times. Yeah, there was just one little image of a. There's an image early on of a what looks like a white Elantra driving by that gas station at like 3:40 something. So it definitely could be him, because that's the time where he broke the normal timing of his loops that he was on. Yeah, I mean, I guess who else is up at 3:40 other than him, or 4 o'clock in the morning? I guess that would be 4:20 when he was 4:17 or so when he's leaving. So there he is. He probably parks the car. This is based on the timing. And I think this is almost exact, where he parks the car at like almost 4:08. So the whole thing before, when it was like, oh, 4:04, and then, oh, he left at 4:20, and people would go, wow, my God, that's so little time. But I don't even think he went into the building until 4:10, if that. It might even be later than that. He might have sat there for another 5 or, like 2 extra minutes, maybe 4:12, and went in there. Because we'll see it here again. Could have been alien abduction too. Oh my God. Jesus. The imagination of people in here, it's just... What is troubling him to warrant such a drive? What does that mean? I mean, some of this stuff's reasonable, you know, like did he change out on the patio? Did he change in the woods? Did he change by the car? But, you know, just sort of like put plastic throughout the entire vehicle. I don't know. That's... Oh, yeah, it's real satellite images. But no, it's not real. Like, that's me. I animated a car there. It's Google Earth. This is actually from... this video right here is from about 4 or 5 months after the murder. This satellite image. So this is him going into the house. This is real time. Can you see how that's kind of just a regular speed right there? Going up the stairs, a pretty small house. And then just to waste some time, I have him go into Kaylee's room. Then exit. And then goes into Madison's room. And then just watch this. So this is where your mind needs to think, what's going on in that room right now when he went into that room? I mean, hell, did he knock on the door first? And he goes in there, and did he just immediately start attacking? I mean, how did the first attack begin? But he's in there. Look how much time this is, you guys. So he's in this room. This is 2 minutes. I'm just putting in the amount of time you need to make it so that at 4:17 he leaves the house. Well, I mean, there's like 7 hours, Eugenie. He got down to the Albertsons at like 12 something and p.m. and then he got home at 5. And then he also drove at 9 o'clock back into Moscow, Idaho. I don't even know what that means, Megan. Sorry. Oh, Jesus. See, this is just all in Madison's room. All this time that we're watching right here. Welcome, Tactical Dragonfly. See? So, has this changed anybody's mind who said, oh, wow, this is too... There's no way that one person could have done all this in that amount of time. For those who are watching, I want to know if it's made you go, oh, shit, my God. Because look how long this has been. We're just in Madison's room still. Then finally, you know, after he's killed them, he leaves, and there they are right there. Then he goes down the stairs. And maybe when he's going downstairs, he confronted Ethan, who sees him, and he goes, oh my God, and Ethan runs down there. And so then he goes, oh, I got to take that guy out too. And then he's right there. And then maybe when he was killing him, Xana opens up the door to see what's going on. But again, look how much time I have to add in here for the battle with Ethan. Here we go. This is going to go on for another 2 minutes again. And so, if that's true, wouldn't Xana had already come out and tried to confront him? Or did Ethan say, get out, go to the room, shut the door or something? You know, and then she's in the room just kind of waiting. But at that time, if she'd seen him being stabbed, I'm sure she would have called 911. So again, there's just a lot of strangeness, you know, things like that. It's hard to figure out the exact... I'd love to have a diagram of where they were and what law enforcement thinks. They have the blood spatter, the blood DNA mapping in the house. So, like, if there's any blood from Madison's room you would expect to have blood from Kaylee or Madison in Xana's room. But if you find any blood from Xana or Ethan up in Madison's room, then it sort of throws everything for a loop, because it's either up there for, like if you believe that the knife was left there accidentally, then perhaps after he killed Ethan and Xana, he went upstairs to look for it but couldn't find it, and that wasted some of this time, and that would have transferred Ethan and Xana's blood upstairs, and then he goes downstairs. Then he just exits the house. Or when he's going downstairs, that's when he hears the whimpering sound and says, "Hey, I'm here to help." And then he finishes off Xana or something, and then he exits. Yes, Kika. This is the time that you just have to fill in with your imagination. And it's really for people to understand that the amount of time is way more than enough for him to have done all this. He could have done it twice. I don't think they took golf clubs for evidence. There were golf clubs in one of the rooms on the first floor, but I'm not sure where he came up with that. And by the way, you guys, I noticed that let's see, he claimed he just liked to, why would he be out? Well, that's what he says. We've already gone over that. You must be new here. That's me, he planted the sheep. No, because it's a sliding glass door. So what are you saying, Todd? So no. Yeah, so this is it. We're still in Xana's room at this point. Thanks, Eugenie. Thank you for supporting the channel, and I donate over 50% of the net revenue at the end of each month to various true crime related charities. Here is the Xana and Ethan. That's after he killed him, and now he's finally leaving the house. And there's Dylan right there. So if you watch it, I'll just do it in kind of slow-mo here. So right there, you turn and Dylan Mortensen's door is shut. But as you go slowly, you can see, notice how it opens up because she's looking out the door. And here comes Kohberger. Her room's dark, by the way, so he's not going to see her. And he goes around the corner, adrenaline, he's getting to get the hell out of there, and goes out the same sliding glass door. One of the things I was wondering, too, is what do you think the likelihood of Xana saying, "Hey, somebody's here," because she saw the sliding glass door open that she knew was shut or something? Like, let's say she had shut the sliding glass door and everybody was in bed. Then she went and saw that it was open again and was like, "Whoa, somebody must be here." What do you think of that? Alright, so then after he goes out the sliding glass door, so are Ethan's clubs in Xana's room? And then are they saying that Ethan used the clubs to combat him? I don't know. Just crazy. Hey, thank you so much, Kit Kat. All right. because here's the thing: is I guarantee it, Kohberger didn't shut the sliding glass door when he came in. He's not gonna he's just gonna go in the house and start doing what he's doing. He wants a quick exit. Cartel hit. Who are the idiots out there that are saying this is a cartel hit? This is not a cartel hit. This is a serial killer mentality individual who might have only had the one time because he got arrested. What are you referring to, Hello Peach? Oh, I mean being able to find out the sequencing of the crime? That's what I thought too. I said that earlier, TTJO, that the clubs were in the unused room on the first floor, just to the right of the door when you go in. The room that nobody was using. But maybe Ethan had his clubs in Xana's room? I mean, I don't know. These people... The problem is on this case, there's a lot of people out there that put stuff out, and people like KK and others... They'll a lot of times they'll just repeat what they heard somewhere, and then it becomes this factual piece of information to everybody else, and we just don't know, right? Yeah, so who knows? I'd have to see her actually saying that. The mom. So if you got that link, KK, go ahead and send it over. We'll have to see. So look at the car still sitting there. Maybe this whole time he could have been changing, right? And then right around this time, it backs up. And there it goes, backs up, and then it takes off at a high rate of speed. And so I hope, I mean, just people watching this, I'm going to put out a video on it, so make sure to watch the actual video and share it. I'll probably do it tomorrow. I might even record the filler stuff in there like tonight or something. But I mean, what do you think? Maybe I put the clock in the middle during this time at least, like, so maybe during the, when it gets to the silent part, maybe it takes a second. It kind of, let's see. If I go like this, and then maybe put it down in the middle, and bigger, like that, right? Then let's see. Oops. Shoot. Yeah, I'm trying to... Let me just fix this part here. Ah, shit. I'll do it later. It's too complicated. But yeah, maybe just have the clock in the middle at that point. Thanks, Robin Burrito. Chat is always confusing. And when you raise issues that are pertinent, people say you're trolling or too imaginative. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing is, I don't think it's trolling when somebody comes up with something crazy. But see, you always think, people like you always say things are pertinent when I can read it and go, that's the most ludicrous thing that I've ever heard. But you think it's pertinent. So I'm not sure where we go from there. I'll just go, wow, that's ridiculous. Oh yeah, maybe I can put the ticking sound in there, Cindy. I'll look for it. Just during those times, and make people wait. No, I don't have any examples. Yeah. Just like the earlier one, I don't remember even what it said. It was just, wow. Let's see. It's Cindy. What does that mean? Does that mean we have to... Ooh, Cindy! Right, that's what I was saying, Cindy. I already know how to do it. Like I just told you I would do that. That I would put the clicking sound when the clock is when it's dark there. Okay. Wow. No, she's not the producer. I already said what I was going to do. Yeah. Here we go. Where did Karen H go from last night? She goes, this is terrible, and then just like, I mean, that was what a troll does. Jesus. She's about as far away as a producer as there could ever be, Kirsten. As a matter of fact, it's the producer. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I can just have it like instead of sliding in, I can just have that be its own thing, and it just. Oh. Huh. Wonder why that does that. There we go. I'll have to figure it out. The recording of the favorite song, yep. Wow, what are you talking about, Christy? Been waiting for you to give me something I can hold on to? I tell you what, if you've been watching this channel, this case is just so clear. It isn't one of those ones where you go, who did this? gosh, I wonder. Like, I don't know, man. Something's just not adding up, man. This is weird. This is. How could he? I don't see it, man. This isn't one of those cases. I know that a lot of people want it to be one of those because it makes it more intriguing and interesting and cool and neato and all that shit. But it's just not. Oh, by the way, I got a story for you guys. When I was doing the my water heater, it kept making this rattling sound. Every time you turn the hot water on, it would go. Da, 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 da. It was just too loud. I was getting really angry with it. It was bothering me. I kept trying to figure out how can I make my office quieter because it's, I was trying to test out the sound. So it was making this weird rattling sound. So today when the plumbers came out, they put the toilet and the sink in. I told them about the sound. They go, yeah, it shouldn't be making that. So they turned off the sound and then it just kind of went away for a minute. And then they heard this, like one of those, at a bank, those little like suction tunnel things that they put your, whatever you call it, like your documents in and send it back out to your car. It went, and then the hot water wouldn't come out at all. It wouldn't come out at all. It just was frozen. A little tiny trickle in this, and they had to pull out they unscrewed the water heater from the wall, and they had it on full blast, and nothing was coming out of that thing. So then they realized that it was right there, and he told me the story about, sometimes they used to put marbles in old water heaters, and the for whatever reason, I couldn't remember what it was for. And so after it was all, he had to cut a 6x6 inch hole in the wall to get to this T. This is it right here. This is the actual piece they ripped out of the wall. And guess what was in that damn thing? A marble, for God's sakes. And it must have got blown in there so hard that it stuck into it's just crazy. A stupid marble. And you know what's amazing? If those guys weren't there, if those guys weren't there to hear it, I just wouldn't have hot water, and they would have had to come out, and who the hell knows how they would have found this thing. They probably had to rip out the whole wall, go through all the pipes, and try to figure out where everything was. And all this was a stupid marble here. So now somebody has to repair the little 6x6, put the primer on there, paint it again, get it to match everything. So I'm actually going to replace my water heater too. And it wasn't something I was planning on doing, but definitely going to have to do that now. Isn't that crazy? And you go online and you type in marbles and water heaters, and they look just like the one I just got right there. Anyways, you guys, if you could please help support the channel. We're having one of those struggling nights with such great content. You would think that we would be doing a little bit better. Yeah, well, it will though. It will. Okay. Hey, Archimane, you're so tiring. It's so old and boring. It closes every gap. This thing it shows you how much time he could have easily done it. The other male profiles are just probably other people at the parties. They were testing the items that were related directly to the killings. You understand that, right? They're not really good questions at this point. It's just you and other people wanted to make this intriguing case where it's just really got all these moving parts and wow, it's got to be somebody else. Thanks, Lulu. No, yeah, and he did do it alone. That's the thing. It does. All the other videos I've done close your gaps. You want it to be something else, and it's not. Here's what's going to happen. Bryan Kohberger is going to be found guilty. It's going to be a case where he was stalking the residents. He eventually decided to go there. He went inside the house and he killed all 4 of those people. And then he took measures to minimize the DNA exposure. And he drove home the long way back, and his phone pinged, and he went home. Then later he went back to check out to see what they had done, to see if there was the activity at the crime scene at 9 in the morning. And there wasn't any. And so he was probably disappointed about that. Then he went home. And basically that part of the story doesn't even matter. What matters is that he is the killer, and he will be found guilty. And there's almost zero chance that that there's some other outcome, except if there's somebody like you on the jury, right? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the people that say, but great. Yeah, well, especially, your feedback isn't useful for me, Archimane. It's not well thought out. It's not interesting. It's just the same babble that we hear on all the channels trying to come up with a way to freak Bryan Kohberger. Yeah, would not be able to coordinate with a second person. He doesn't have the social skills. Yeah, I think people would think he was weird and not want to, like, what's he, you'd have to find someone that was similar to him, I guess. Usually the jury listens to all the facts first before going off the rails. I'm not sure what that even means, Kirsten. You'll have to work on that a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not on a jury here. This is literally, I can say what my opinion is, and I can tell you that the evidence in the case just boxes him in dramatically, and his own admissions too. It's just it's freaky. It's scary that people think that there was a convention of white Elantras driving around. It wasn't his, though. They were all just other people. They got like 9 of them. It will change minds, Archimane. And I know it will, because even the other day when I had people stare at a clock for the amount of time and just visually did it, they go, oh shit, I see now. So you're incorrect. All right? Just, again, not to... You know how much money that would have been? What a mess. Let's see. You know how much... I don't know what that's even referring to. Hello, Peach. You know how much money that would have been? What a mess. To what? Yeah, I think when you... Just watching the one today, it's crazy how much time is in there. Oh, she's on rewind. Yeah, it's going to be... might be a couple $1,000s for a new water heater. But the water heater I had was from 1996, and apparently they only last like 12 to 15 years, so that thing was due a long time ago. I guess it must have been put in there right before I got this place, weirdly. Clock thing changed my mind, and my mind was changed. Yeah, I mean, the sheath, I just say that it was planted because it was cleaned. Now, you can come up with all kinds of other reasons why it was cleaned and whatever, but I think I mean, I have 2 scenarios, and they contradict each other. The one is that it was cleaned, and it was left there intentionally. And then another theory that makes him go upstairs looking for the sheath and back down That one would mean that he didn't leave it there intentionally because he went up to look for it, and then he came back down, and then he heard Xana whimpering, and then, or whatever the term was, and then went in there and finished her off and said, "Hey, I'm here to help." Yeah, they weren't convinced prior. They said that after hearing that, they changed their mind. Jesus. It's like arguing with the, it's just, you got these people that always try to battle everything word that you say. It's just, as an assumption, I think he has books and internet searches about how to be an efficient hunter. I don't know. I bet he doesn't have any books on hunting. Yeah. Are you making something for Chloe? No. Oh. Because Blue is staring over there. I was just warned that Blue's looking, waiting for his meal. He's hoping for something. Now, what are the thoughts on the remaining alive? Ding 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 ding. Yeah, we read the super chat that you gave earlier, Archiman. Don't you remember? That's the one about the. You said it was a good visual, but then after that said it won't change anybody's minds. Yeah, it's like it sort of went downhill after that. But thanks anyways. Let's see. No, you gotta look at yourself, Archiman. Your comments are what make it that way. Because you're telling me that my videos have no effect on anybody at all because it didn't affect your opinion. Okay, so I think that's arrogance. Like, man, it's so funny how people can't see how they comment. It's just weird, strange stuff. They don't see how their comments have an effect on how somebody else comments. You don't, Archiman. See, look at the arrogance there. Archiman says, "I know more about the case than you, probably." So who's arrogant in a comment like that? Okay, get out of here. All right. Let's see. Also, like anyone cares. Yeah. Ridiculous. No, we'll put him back in, but all the comments are gone. I know more about the case than you do. It's just feedback trashing. It's saying your video has no effect on anybody. It's terrible, in other words. Yeah. Let's see. Ooh la la, ooh la la.
Snacks for Blue and Chloe. Part.
Look at Blue still waiting for his. He's oh, is it my turn? Yeah, probably not. Basically, the probable cause document is the case. Now, there's all the side stuff, like, in the different cameras. That's why I did the timeline one, different videos and things. But there's also stuff that is meaningless that people are proud of themselves to learn about, which has nothing to do with anything. It's just little, this guy named Jim, he was at a store, and, this one guy, he's friends with so-and-so, and I think he might be involved or something like that. And yeah, it's just strange. Yeah, see, I don't mind when you get feedback, but when somebody's obviously in there, like, sort of passive aggressively attacking your work, that's when it's not fun. You know, it gets to a point where it's kind of boring. All right, you guys. Well, I don't have much more to. What do you guys? I mean, I'm just gonna put out this video. I'll do my commentary during that time frame. We'll zoom in. I'll put a clock in the middle. Maybe I'll do the Cindy J clock ticking sound. Of course, you know, it'll just play during that time. But I don't know. I'm gonna be talking during that, and then it's gonna have. I mean, that's basically it. It'll probably have some music playing, that normal music that I play, and I'm just going to freewheel it, as it were, during the video. Say the PCA is law enforcement interpretation of what they believe happened. Yeah, well, but it isn't just what they believe happens. It's factual information, Kathy. So when you say the PCA is law enforcement's interpretation, it is what happened. It's not just their interpretation, but that's what they use to say. I mean, you can use interpretation. Yeah, sure. You know, we can call it interpretation, but that's like saying my interpretation of 1 + 1 is 2. Don't take it as fact. But that's just what it is. Yeah. So if you want the factual pieces of information that law enforcement has, the PCA has it. Okay? And when we put it together and look at it, it's exactly what they're saying it means. Ah, Jesus. It's a fact, Kathy. It's a fact. All right, anyways, Blue is staring into my soul. Oh, he's just waiting for something? He just wants something. Just like they said that when Dylan said it, he had bushy eyebrows. That's a fact. She did say that, right? She really did say it. Well, not really, Grant, because you could bring Dylan in the court and she'll deny that she... Okay. All right, the camera that showed a white Elantra without a front license plate driving by the A&W, that really did happen. Well, no, Gray, they're going to have to show the video in court. Okay, well, here's the thing. I'm trusting that there is video that shows that. Okay, because why would law enforcement make up an entire thing like that the camera doesn't even exist, that... I don't know. I think people just get too into... They want to seem so level-headed and just, yeah, man, we gotta... You know, they're not really guilty until convicted by a jury, and also the facts, we just don't know until they're presented. And, you know, we just don't know at this point. You know, I do. Now, well, I will, but I won't be proven wrong, Kathy. Those facts will be in court. The timeline elements will be in there. His phone will have pinged 11 or 12 times in the area, the same using the same cell towers as the people at 1122 King Road on different occasions. That's going to be that will be something. Now, you might bring an expert on and try to say, well, hey, you know, a phone can ping over here, da-da-da-da. But it did ping, nevertheless. Yeah. People want him to be innocent really badly. It's weird. I don't. I'm hoping that they got the right guy and he's off the streets and there isn't somebody that killed 4 people still running around. This isn't one of those cases that's difficult. You know, I don't sit around and go, God, I don't know. I don't know, man. This is... Like, I don't consider a Kopaka or whoever this guy, other guy's name. It's just so ludicrous. Alright. So here's the thing. So I guess what we're going to say is the DNA doesn't really exist until trial happens. Right, right. But I'm not a trial, Kathy, so I'm not a court. I just tell you what I think, and I'm absolutely 100% convinced that Bryan Kohberger is the killer. In fact, I think it almost shows his guilt by him not waiving the speedy trial because he realized, oh shit, look at all this stuff. How are we going to explain that? So, yeah, I mean, I don't mind you having a different opinion, and that's why I'm responding the way I'm responding to it, because that's what I think about what you're saying. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to go, great point. Boy, that's awesome. Man, that's... You're absolutely right. None of the facts, nothing is a fact in the probable cause document until somebody proves it in court. It's all bullshit. We got to just look at it like that. And so I'm not going to do it that way. I'm pretending that when I do this show, the probable cause is my court presentation. Now, you could say, well, what if none of that stuff in there is true? Well, really? I mean, how often does that actually happen? Where in the probable cause, almost nothing is true. I don't think I've ever seen a case like that. As a matter of fact, every case that I've seen, the probable cause is exactly what they present at trial, and then there's a conviction. Yeah, Jesus. Would I bet my house? Well, I mean, this is a show, so I'm not sure. I don't think I would bet my house. And if you said $1 million and I could give up my house if I lose, maybe I'd do something like that, like $2 million or something. Yeah. Like if he's found not guilty and like proven innocent, not just not guilty. Like he isn't exonerated, but oh, the jury there's idiot jury people, and he's a hung jury or something. Then yeah, I might do something like that, like $2 million for, you know, you have to have a little hedge in there. Well, I'm sure I was so mean to somebody, so I'm going to have to throw myself in prison here. Maybe that'll get us going here. Unfortunately. Another one of those slow ones. Oh, we're putting the chat in there. There we go. The chat tonight is in prison. You guys have been an absolute nightmare. And not all of you, but a lot of you. So to get us going on to another case, we'll have to get you bailed out of here. Whew, wow. La 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 la. Be cool just to get to the goal and then move on to the next part of the show. Yeah, you guys are in jail. Yeah. My homie chat is innocent. Huh? Hey, thanks, Mac. Thank you. And just Junie. So Mac got me a cake with a file in it. Past the guard. Heading towards the door. Just Junie got the key to the jail to get the hell out of there. And Danielle bought me a pair of socks to wear with my shoes. And an American lady got the hailed a cab to get here.
Thank you, great.
Now I just need a meal and a hotel and we're good. Thank you, Mag. Just Junie, Danielle, American Lady.
Chewbacca?
And you're here for it?
Chewbacca if you want me to.
Free us.
Okay, I'll free you. Where is it? Is that one? Oh, you got 2 chats in there. Wow. Now it's just me in prison. All right. Travel and Teresa got me the cab to the hotel. Or you guys. I guess it was me anyways. I'm always in prison in your minds, right, you guys? It'll take me a couple of weeks. Oh, you left me in here. That's not very nice, Cindy. I think you alone need to bail me out of here. I'm sure you are, Roseanne. You seem like one of those people that get bored easily. We are out, you are in. Yeah, so now I'm sitting here. And notice how you guys got yourself out. And how come that one didn't take? I don't know, somehow that last one didn't, Travel and Teresa's didn't add to the stream goal. So we're actually 10 more than that. Or it could have been that, oh, there we go, there it goes. Revenge is sweet. Thanks, Eugenie. That's not very nice. You're so mean. I'm going to put you in prison. Eugenie's in prison, everybody. Because she was so mean. Revenge is sweet, she said. That's okay. I'll get her. She doesn't need to be in there. Alright, I'm going to get out. Even though I wasn't bailed out, the chat was. I'm going to get out anyways. Are you angry with us? Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. Okay, we're going to try. It's going to get really... It's even going to get worse, though, because we're going to be doing reading now. On a cold case. Hopefully we can get through this. I don't know. Not sure it's possible. Thank you, the Incredible Hulk. Blue never gets looked up. What does that mean? Jesus. Yeah. We don't have behavior bond here, Zozo. Oh, locked up. Oh, you said looked. Okay. Alright, so this is a case from back in 1981, but it sort of continued out for some years there. Alright, so this is search launch for a missing woman. The Hancock County Sheriff's Department is looking for a 22-year-old Greenfield woman who has been missing since Monday. Let me get to the right part here. Okay, get in the area here. The department has no evidence of foul play, but the circumstances of her disappearance have made investigators suspicious. Lora L. Morris, 70 of 73 Shade Land Drive, left her parents' house sometime Monday night, leaving her purse and billfold with cash and personal items on the kitchen counter, and the pickup truck she drove parked outside, authorities said. So right then, she would have had to have been abducted from her house or just left on foot, right? Her parents, Steve and Gertrude Snedegar, told investigators their daughter was wearing only a t-shirt and underpants. No other clothing is missing from the house, according to Grass. Grass said Mrs. Morris, who is divorced, had brought her mother home from Indianapolis International Airport Monday evening. Ms. Snedegar told police she was tired from the trip and went to bed. The young woman has not been seen since. Her father was vacationing in Florida. Mrs. Morris' 3-year-old daughter, Brandy, is with the woman's ex-husband. Her family doesn't believe she would leave so suddenly because she is close to her child. The family is offering $10,000 reward. Since she vanished, her family has received several harassing telephone calls, but investigators are uncertain whether the calls are related to the disappearance. Mrs. Morris is 5 feet 9, 125 pounds, with light brown shoulder-length hair, and so that's when she was missing. And then the next day in the paper, that's her right there. Crying caller, maybe missing woman. Police hunting a 22-year-old woman who disappeared from her parents' home are baffled further by a sobbing voice heard during a telephone call to the family. Police said yesterday Gertrude Snedegar's mother of Lora Lynn Morris of Greenfield, that's the missing woman, told them she answered the telephone in the family's home and heard a woman crying. Mrs. Morris's father, Stephen Snedegar, her mother, and her former husband, Bryce Morris, 22, all believe the crying voice on the telephone was that of the missing woman. Sergeant John Munden of the Hancock County Sheriff's Department said he fears foul play because so much time has elapsed. Mrs. Morris was last seen watching television in the Snedegar home at about 11 p.m. last Monday. When Miss Snedegar awoke the next morning, she found the side door of the house open and no signs of her daughter. Mrs. Morris's purse, hairbrush, billfold with money, and car keys were still on the dining room table. None of her clothes except those she was wearing when last seen were missing. In an earlier call, Miss Snedegar answered the phone and heard what sounded like a man's voice muffled with a cloth or stocking. "I'm going to get you, sucker," said the caller, who then hung up. He said he doesn't believe the case involves ransom because no kidnappers have contacted the family. Pretty crazy. And then we got police searching in fields. Investigators conducted an air and ground search today near the home of the rural Greenfield family whose 22-year-old daughter has been missing from her home for more than a week. Using a helicopter, investigators led by the Hancock County Sheriff's Department combed an area of woods south of Greenfield, searching for clues in the disappearance of Lora Lynn Morris. The search began near the home of the missing woman's parents, Steve and Gertrude Snedegar. The home is on CR 200S. So listen, this is how I figured out where the home was. So, let's see. I think it's right here. Yeah. And let me turn on roads. So here is, it said between CR 200 South, between Indiana 9 and Franklin Road. So here is Franklin Road right here, and there's Indiana 9 between there, and then this road here Shadeland Drive, and that's what they said earlier. And I don't know if the house is still there. I couldn't find 71 or 70 Shadeland. Let's see. 70 Shade Land Drive. Yeah, so it just goes in the middle of the cul-de-sac there. Are you like Ridiculous Sleuthing Squadron? I didn't ask you to go out and check up on anything. I'm covering the case the way it was in the newspapers back then. Man, where do these people come from? I mean, it's almost like they're nuts, you know? Why don't you spend the whole day getting all the articles together? Let's see. Wow, that's a long name there. Rowing now, so far, so far. Oh. That must be... that's the song, right? I mean, it's just so weird that somebody gets out there. Oh, God. Let's see. The search began near the home of Gertrude Snedegar. So they were obviously searching probably in these fields over here, looking around by helicopter. And I'm not going to be bringing up that other people went missing because it has nothing to do with that. Snedegar disappears from parents' home. Lora Snedegar Morris, 22, daughter of Steve and Gertrude Snedegar, disappeared last week from her parents' home in Greenfield and has not been seen. Lora and her mother retired for bed last Monday evening. When Miss Snedegar awoke Tuesday morning, she noticed a pillow and cover on the living room sofa. Lora's purse was where she had left it. No clothes were missing, but Lora was gone. Yep, so I got that. So now we're on the 24th. The first one was August 16th. This is the 24th. Search teams combed the area, so they're looking around again in the same spots. This is like crops, obviously, here. County clue, probably no help in missing woman case. Investigators don't hold much hope that a Johnson County connection to a missing Greenfield woman will help solve the case. A notebook of Lora Lynn Morris, 22, missing since August 10th from her parents' home in Greenfield, contained 2 entries of the Daily Journal telephone number. It's possible she's there. Okay. So that one didn't turn into anything. Welcome, KM Bear. New Whiteland truck driver thinks hitchhiker was missing woman. So that was something that was out there for a long time. A New Whiteland truck driver said today he feels sure a hitchhiker he picked up early today in Ohio in Greenfield is a Greenfield woman who's been missing since August 10th. Lawrence Miller, 35, of 285 Bittersweet Drive, made the identification after looking at a picture of Lora Lynn Morris, 22, that had appeared in the Daily Journal last week. Miller described the woman as 5'10". She was wearing light blue pair of shorts, a white blouse, dark blue hooded sweatshirt, and sandals. He also said that she had several scratches on her leg and cuts on the left side of her head. Yeah. So that was August 27th. And then they got psychics involved. Oh, isn't that great, everybody? Isn't that fantastic? I know it's arrogant of me to say that psychics are full of shit, but, I apologize. That's not true, Gray. There's just one case I heard about where the psychic... Okay. Yeah. And we're going to need some more energy here for the reading, you guys. We got another hour left of the show. But we only need $52.85, 95 cents to reach the goal. That would be amazing. Because we're right near the end of the month. We've got today, tomorrow, and then the final day. Hancock County Sheriff Department investigators enlisted the aid of 2 Midwest psychics during the holiday weekend in their continuing search. Yeah, I'm not even going to mention the psychics because they didn't find a damn thing. Sheriff Department seeks letter writer. The Hancock County Sheriff's Department is interested in contacting the person who wrote Detective Sergeant John Munden concerning Lora Morris. Munden has requested the person who wrote the letter contact him. Stress of being bigamous cited in lie test failure. So I guess it's like the stress of being a bigamist may have caused a former resident to fail 2 polygraph tests during questioning on the disappearance of a woman 4 months ago. Detective Sergeant John W. Munden said the man, a truck driver who now lives in Lake Charles, Louisiana, took the lie detector test shortly after Lora L. Morris, 22, vanished from her parents' home 2 miles south of here on August 10th. Let's see. During the pre-test interview, Munden became suspicious of the 31-year-old trucker's description of a military divorce. Became suspicious of the 31-year-old trucker's description. Acting on his hunch, Munden went to Louisiana, where he confronted the truck driver. Is that the one who said that he'd seen her? 24-year-old wife, who Munden said admitted she was one of 2 spouses, were considering filing bigamy. I see. Stress of being a bigamist made him lie on a lie detector test? Okay. Jesus. Hackers linked to missing women. Police say they now want to question fugitive Rick Dean Akers, 24, a former Johnson County resident, about the mysterious disappearance of a Greenfield woman in August.
Reading wave.
Thanks, American lady.
Ocean wave.
Of all the people I would like to talk to, it is Rick Akers, said Hancock County Sheriff Detective Sergeant John W. Munden. The woman, Lora Lynn Morris, 22, disappeared without a trace. So I don't know this guy. Who is this guy? Let's see. I'm aware. Let me just go through this because it might be. Of all the people I would like to talk to is Rick Akers. The woman, Lora Lynn Morris, 22, disappeared without a trace from her parents' Greenfield home late on the night of August 10th, except for a sobbing phone call shortly after the disappearance. Investigators haven't heard anything from the woman or from kidnappers about ransom. Munden said Bryce Morris and Akers both attended Whiteland Community High School and were in the same class for a short time. Morris was graduated from Whiteland High School in 1977. Akers attended the high school for 2 months during the 1973-74 school year. Morris and Akers had a falling out, and Morris last saw his friend around January 1981. I'm aware of a disagreement, but I can't talk about it until I talk to Akers. So I guess there was just some disagreement, and they were in a class together a long time ago. Grasping at straws. Police slay. And then look at this. Hey, thank you. Ashy Snowwood. Oh, look, is that it? Did we get there? I think we got it. Thank you. So kind. Thank you, Ashy Snow. We're going to get the avocado dance here in a second. Too fast. Ooh!
Art and freaks, octopus.
Man, I should. You know what? To get 8675309 to send in super chats, I'm going to play this one. I'm going to put that one on one of the numbers, like I don't know, make it $7.99. Let's see, $8.67. There we go. That'd be pretty funny. Anyway, thank you guys for helping to reach the goal there. Appreciate it. So that Akers they were just talking about, the friend, look at that. Any chances Hancock County Sheriff's Detective Sergeant John Munden had of questioning fugitive Ricky Dean Akers in connection with the August 10th disappearance of 22-year-old Laura Lynn Morris Greenfield were shattered by FBI bullets late Monday night at an I-70 rest stop. FBI agents encountered Akers, 24, Indianapolis, at a rest stop only 3 miles east of the Indiana border shortly before 11 p.m. when he was shot and killed. Early reports indicate Akers drew a gun and forced the agents into a shootout. Akers, reportedly believing himself to be a new John Dillinger and claiming police would never take him alive, had been the object of a massive law enforcement search by local, state, and federal authorities since that incident. Let's see. Here it says, on March 4th, Indiana State Police Trooper Brooke Wilson stopped a vehicle on I-465 in which Akers and his girlfriend were passengers. Akers opened his car door and fired shots at Wilson before fleeing. Well, that's going to get you shot. Thank you, CR. Although he regretted the shooting, Munden said, in light of everything that's happened in the last 30 days, the I-465 incident and numerous charges, it doesn't surprise me that he was shot. Yeah, exactly. All right. So then, just a couple days later, it says, family members have identified jewelry and clothing that was on a body discovered here Thursday, and this is Friday, so it was on the 15th. Afternoon, as that of Laura Lynn Morris, the 22-year-old former Greenfield woman. The identification by the missing woman's parents, a relative, informed the Daily Reporter late this morning. The severely decomposed body of a mature white female was discovered by a farmer Thursday afternoon in a cornfield approximately 1.5 miles north of the small Shelby County community. The body was clad in jean cutoffs and a light-colored shirt of some kind. So I was actually able to find this. It was really took me a while, but it says between 12:30 and 1 p.m. Thursday, Phil Bennett, I couldn't find him, 32 of Route 1 Arlington, was plowing a cornfield owned by James Nugent. I couldn't find him either, where he lived at the time, at Shelby CR 1100 North between 700. I mean, it was crazy because it's all sitting here. So let's see. So she's found right here. So I had to look up these different roads, and it said. So she was found on CR 100 North between 700 East and 750 East. So there's 750 East. There's 700. Hey, thanks, Craig. And then here is East 100 North right here. So right in between there. And then later there's even more description that it was in a cornfield 100 feet from the road and near a dividing line. So it could be this one over here too, but I think it's right there. You know, right in this area. So her body was found after all that time, and the distance from her home is going to be, it's 8, I'm sure, I think it's probably like 11 or 12 miles driving, so it's not too far. 867. Oh, there it is. Great show as usual. 867. Here we go. There you go, Craig. There you go. All right. The first thing I saw was blue, and I thought maybe somebody killed a deer. Really? When you see blue, you think somebody kills a deer? Then I saw the skull, and I knew it was a human. First thing I saw was blue, and I thought maybe somebody killed a deer? What? Oh, you're talking about a tarp on it? Or, I mean, I don't really know what that means. When asked about the possibility that the body was overlooked during the field's late October to November harvest, Bennett said, "No way. You could drive over it and not notice it. When you can pick out rabbits from under a combine, you sure could tell a body." Police would not speculate on how long the body had been there. And here it is. I mean, this is them standing in the cornfield. I was kind of using some of this stuff I could kind of make out in the background. You know, like if you go down to this, there's, believe it or not, there's actually street view out in the middle of nowhere here. Yeah, so I think I was thinking that was back here was, you know, some of these homes that you're looking at in the background. That's what makes sense. Like, it doesn't look exactly the same. I can't tell what shape that is, but yeah. Let's see. That's not it. So I'm just guessing it's in this field right here, but it's definitely in the right, like within 100 yards of where I have it. So there it is. Rings identified Lora Morris's body. Jewelry found on a decomposed body was positively identified as that of Lora Lynn Morris, 22. The woman's parents identified 3 rings found on the body, authorities said on Friday. And on the 19th, detectives almost certain, they're saying, the body is the missing woman. Shelby, Indiana. Shelby County Sheriff detectives said Sunday they are 90% certain, just 90, huh? A badly decomposed body found in northeast Shelby County is the body of Lora L. Morris. But they said absolute identification awaits a second autopsy at Bloomington this afternoon. Munden, who has led the Morris case investigation, warned, "We don't want another Clarence Roberts." He was referring to the case of the body prematurely identified as Roberts' 1970 fire at Nashville, Indiana. Positive identification has never been made. Then on the 20th, autopsy report proved the body was Lora Lynn Morris. A second autopsy performed Monday on the body of a woman found last Thursday in a cornfield in northeastern Shelby County has confirmed police suspicions it is that of Lora Lynn Morris. Mrs. Morris, 22, had been missing from her parents' Greenfield home since last August and had been the object of massive police searches since that time. Basically, we confirm what we already knew, said Shelby County Coroner Lee Fisher of the second autopsy report. The body already had been tentatively identified as that of Mrs. Morris by her parents, who said that jewelry and clothing found at the scene of the discovery were like some their daughter wore. But because Miss Morris' medical and dental records were not available at the time, authorities declined to make a positive identification. During the second autopsy, Blooming Hospital pathologist and Monroe County coroner Dr. John Pless compared x-rays taken from the body with Mrs. Morris's dental records. The comparisons made from records kept by a Greenfield dentist confirmed the identification. So there you go. Well, that is her body. And this one, we're 1992. Mystery still surrounds woman's death. A year ago today, a young woman disappeared from her parents' Greenfield home. 8 months later, her badly decomposed body was found in a Shelby County cornfield. The question of why Lora Lynn Morris, 22, disappeared and how her body ended up in a cornfield are still as much a mystery as they were a year ago. The discovery of the body was the first significant break in the case. The lack of evidence in the investigation caused police to turn to psychics from around the country in hopes of finding the woman. And by the way, none of them did a damn thing. The psychics described the area where she would be found as rural. Ooh, wow, because they live in a rural area. Farm country. Investigators and volunteers combed Hancock County in hopes of finding her. An investigation led to Greenwood and Johnson County on several occasions. A private detective hired by the family followed several clues, but also came up dry. Hancock County Sheriff Detective Sergeant John Munden has been on the case since the day of Miss Morris' disappearance. They will only talk in very general terms about the case. The detectives were in Greenwood Monday night to talk with a local man who was an acquaintance of Ricky Dean Akers. So they're still trying to... This is more about Akers in here. So we go down to the next article here. Morris case becomes 5 year. Now we're actually in 1987. There was a long break in there. But there's a grave. Let's see. I wonder if I can read it. It was a typical spring day, not unlike the day before or the day after. The temperature was mild, sun bright, but April 15th, 1982 was a day some will never forget. The spring rains normally prevalent in mid-April had abated, and central Indiana's farmers were working their fields. Phil Bennett, a farm hand who lived near the small town of Arlington on US 52, was plowing a field in northeastern Shelby County, readying the ground for spring planting. It was then he noticed something several rows away. At first, he would later tell police he thought it was an animal, perhaps a deer, lying between the corn rows. He stopped his tractor, walked to where the object lay, and without knowing it, ended an 8-month search for a missing 22-year-old woman. Deputies from Shelby and Hancock County, plus Indiana State Police investigators, raced to the area along Shelby CR 1100 North and east of Shelby CR 700 East. When they arrived, they discovered the badly decomposed remains of Lora Lynn Morris, lying on her back between the rows, shot in the head by a small caliber weapon. She was found wearing a white man's t-shirt, her underwear, and a pair of faded blue jeans cutoffs. Some of her jewelry was still with her. Shell casings were found strewn about the area, but little else was revealed. Family members were called to the Hancock County Sheriff's Department later that night and identified the clothes and jewelry as Lora's. Noted forensic pathologist John Pless was contacted and an autopsy performed, but the body's poor condition gave police fewer clues than they had hoped about the circumstances of her death. Her identity was confirmed, however, through dental records. Today, her small headstone stands in a family plot atop a hill in Klickitat's Grandview Cemetery, offering little hint of the tragedy. On August 10, 1981, Gertrude Snedegar flew to Indiana to visit Lora. That's the mother. She flew to Indiana to visit Lora in Greenfield. Trudy also came to visit her other daughter, Brenda Chalice, and her son-in-law, Dan, who lived in Indianapolis. The girls went to Indianapolis International Airport to pick up their mother that evening. Lora and Trudy returned to Greenfield late that night. The women prepared for bed, but Lora decided to stay up a while and watch television. Trudy would later tell police Lora was wearing the white t-shirt and her underwear. Records have indicated that around 11 p.m. and again before midnight, telephone calls were made between the Snedegar home and Lora's ex-husband in Goshen. Trudy Snedegar awakened at about 6:30 a.m. on August 11th. She told authorities, but Lora was not there. The television was still on, and the family room door ajar, and Lora's purse, car keys, and other personal belongings remained at the house. It's almost like, it's pretty crazy. It's almost like somebody came in and abducted her, or she left, or or she was just abducted from there. I don't know. It's pretty weird. Trudy first began calling relatives, friends, and others to try to find her daughter. After nearly 7 hours with no luck, she contacted police. Around 1:30 that afternoon, police were told of the disappearance and drove to the Snedegar home. What they found was a typical residence with no signs of struggle evident and everything neatly in place. There were some investigators who believed instinctively from the first that Lora had met with foul play, but others were less convinced. It wouldn't be until Bennett's discovery that there would be proof of the crime. Nonetheless, police began conducting interviews, scouring the Snedegar home and grounds for clues, and mounting what would become an exhaustive investigation. Questions concerning the reason for the disappearance began surfacing immediately. Ransom, revenge, or an innocent visit to a friend. Let's see. But the day after Lora's disappeared, police would be told of a phone call to the Snedegars' home. Wednesday night, August 12th, Trudy reported to police that she had received a call just minutes earlier when an unfamiliar voice offered only one sentence. "We're bound to get you, sucker. Get you, sucker." After the initial call, recording equipment was placed on the Snedegar phone, and on Thursday afternoon, a second call was received. In that call, which lasted less than 10 seconds, a woman's voice uttered some words bearing sexual overtones, and the caller hung up. Family members believe the voice to be Lora's, but police have been unable to confirm that scientifically. Investigators, aided by dozens of volunteers, began walking cornfields, inspecting abandoned buildings, and following every available lead while compiling lists of possible suspects. But there would be other disappearances for police to face, adding new, complicating issues to an already complex situation. About 3 weeks after Lora's disappearance, Carmel businessman Paul Anthony Tony Lambert would be the next name to haunt the investigation. Lambert and a business partner had successfully tried to buy the Snedegar oil business that summer, but their financing fell through, police said. Lambert met with Snedegar family members in early September in New Orleans, where a business deal was in the works, investigators said. After the meeting, Lambert reportedly left with a blonde woman and has not been seen again. A day before the meeting, Police said Lambert bought a plane ticket to his wife, so his wife could join him in New Orleans. He was supposed to call her to confirm the travel details, but the call never came. Let's see. Police said Lambert has not contacted his wife or family in more than 5 years. During the early months of so this is another person that's missing. So there's multiple people that are missing related to the case, not just random people. The case would eventually take police through Hancock, Shelby, Johnson, and other Indiana counties. Lora and her ex-husband had several friends and classmates from the Greenwood, Whiteland area of Johnson County. Some would later be considered possible suspects. Let's see. Some of the acquaintances were active players in the central Indiana drug community, and the leads kept coming. Among the more unique tips police encountered were those from psychics who believed they had information about the case. Most notably were Ross Peterson of Michigan, Greta Alexander of Illinois, and a third those are the psychics. Eventually, the psychics would concentrate their direction towards Blue River Township in southeastern Hancock County, and would actually lead investigators to within a mile of where the body was found several months later. Yeah, it's just, how many different other places did they say? So when you say eventually led there, well, we checked here? No. Well, okay, how about here? Did you check? It's just stupid. Charles Darwin, Chuck Smith, Nighttown vanished about 2 weeks before. So Charles Darwin, or his name is Chuck Smith, Knightstown, vanished about 2 weeks before Laura's body was discovered, and police believe his only connection was something he may have seen shortly before she disappeared. Smith had several jobs, including a stint at as a truck driver for the Snedegar Oil Company, but in early August 1981 he was working at a gas station as a gas station attendant at the Cocaline station on Greenfield's west side, where Lora was a regular customer. It was there early on Sunday, just before her disappearance. Lora drove into the station. Smith told police she was with a shady-looking character he didn't recognize, and she appeared scared. He tried to talk to Lora then, but was prevented by the man whom he described as having long, dirty-looking hair with his wallet on a chain and a tattoo on his arm. By March, Smith was unemployed and looking for a way to support his wife and child. His search was known to several persons connected with the case. Out of the blue, a telephone call comes from Tennessee, where a voice offers Smith a job with John Rogers Trucking Company in Knoxville. The arrangement was for Smith to come to Tennessee, work a couple of weeks, and then have his family join him. On Saturday, March 27, 1982, a bus ticket was purchased for Smith in Knoxville and was waiting for him in Indianapolis. The next day, a Sunday, Smith's father-in-law drove him into Indianapolis Terminal, and he reportedly boarded the bus. That was the last time Smith had any contact with his family. His wife called Hancock County authorities that Tuesday after her husband didn't telephone on Monday as planned. Police investigation would later reveal no such trucking firm in Knoxville and no trace of Smith. So that was a setup. God, that's crazy. Within weeks thereafter, Bennett would discover the remains of Lora Lynn Morris, and the search for the missing woman now would end. But police would find one missing person replaced by 2 additional disappearances and have one definite homicide on their hands. The search for the killer would continue, and more than 4 years would pass before police would encounter what they believe is the latest development in an increasingly complex case. Yeah, so Hoosier detectives renew hope. Laura Lynn Morris, who was born in... Okay, let's see. 2 people authorities believe have information about her death mysteriously disappeared before her body was found. And police now say Morris's mother, Gertrude Snedegar, was reported missing about 8 months ago. Is that crazy? So now the mother's missing, and then these other 2 people. He said there were some new developments in the case, but didn't disclose the information. In 1981, Morris's parents moved from Greenfield to Florida, but she stayed behind and lived in their Indiana house. Snedegar returned for a visit August 10, 1981. That night, Snedegar went to bed and her daughter stayed up to watch television. Police records indicate 2 calls were made between the house and the Goshen, Indiana home of Morris's ex-husband, Bryce. The next morning, Snedegar discovered that her daughter was gone. 3 weeks after her disappearance... I mean, that's sort of interesting, that phone call, to Bryce. I mean, all you'd have to have is somebody over there answer the phone, and you could go there and call, but I don't know. It's more likely that she just called him. By March 1982, 8 months after that nightmare encounter, Smith, who was then unemployed, received a telephone call from someone on the job. Yeah, that's what we just went through that part there. Thank you, Coolin' You. Welcome. So this is June of 1987. Murder probe takes police to Ohio. So now it's Snedegar, the mom, and Morris are missing. Hancock County Sheriff Captain John Munden met with authorities and reviewed documents in Chillicothe, Ohio, Thursday, as he sought additional information in the August 1981 disappearance and murder of Laura Lynn Morris. Most significant among Thursday's discoveries were records indicating that one of the missing persons in the increasingly complex mystery had ties to Chillicothe, the hometown of Morris and her family, Munden said. Paul Anthony Lambert, a Carmel businessman who disappeared just weeks after Morris vanished from her Greenfield home, had business ties in the Chillicothe area as early as 1979. Munden said he would make additional visits to the South Central Ohio community. Let's see. Reports published in April indicated Trudy had not contacted her parents, brother, sister, children. I think that's the mother, right? Grandchildren. Munden also revealed a pair of curious situations regarding the investigation Thursday, but added there's a lot of things odd about this case. Florida law apparently requires that missing persons report be filed by an immediate family member. Although Trudy has not been seen for 6 months, Munden said she was only reported missing to police within the last couple of weeks. Oh, that is kind of strange. Like, why didn't her husband report Trudy missing? Don't you think that's a little weird? Like, she's missing, but her husband doesn't say, hey, she's missing. Since last summer, about the time Trudy is believed to have disappeared, the contact abruptly stopped. Munden said he has spoken with Stephen. I don't know who that's Stephen. I forgot who that is. I'm just going to move on to the next one. There's a whole bunch of these. They went over this case for years. It's crazy. Then 1989, in May, mystery full of intrigue. So let's see. Since the discovery of the body of Laura Lynn Morris in a Shelby County field 7 years ago, 3 people with links to the Morris have vanished. A possible suspect was slain by Ohio police, and the chief investigator in the Morris case retired in the wake of an investigation into his activities. Morris, 22, had been missing 8 months when farmhand Phil Bennett found her decomposed body. She had been shot in the head. The mystery began shortly after Morris's parents, Steve and Gertrude Snedegar, sold their Greenfield waste oil business in June of 1981 and moved to Florida. Morris and her husband, Bryce Morris, divorced. She moved out of their Greenwood apartment into a family home at Greenfield. On August 10, 1981, Trudy Snedegar flew to Indiana to visit Morris in Greenfield and another daughter, Brenda Chalice. Morris and Chalice picked up their mother at the Indianapolis International Airport. Morris and her daughter returned to the Greenfield late. Snedegar went to bed. Morris, wearing underwear and a man's white t-shirt, stayed up to watch TV. Telephone records showed calls were made between Greenfield house and Morris' ex-husband at 11 p.m. At 6:30 a.m., when Mrs. Snedegar awakened, the TV to the family room door was ajar and Morris was gone. Her purse and car keys were there. At 1:30 p.m., Miss Snedegar called police. On August 12, 1981, Mrs. Snedegar reported receiving a call. An unfamiliar voice said, "We're bound to get you, sucker." The next day, a woman called, uttered sexual innuendos, and hung up. 3 weeks after Morris disappeared, Carmel businessman Paul Anthony Tony Lambert also vanished. Lambert and a partner tried unsuccessfully to buy the Snedegars' J&S Oil Service Company. The previous May, the oil reclamation business was sold to others. Morris was a bookkeeper in J&S before it sold. Let's see. Lambert and a partner tried unsuccessfully to buy Snedegar's J&S Oil Service Company. So Morris. Okay, so Lora was a bookkeeper there. Oh, interesting. So she might have had knowledge of something. I mean, what would you think the reason you would kill the guy that was trying to buy it, but then he sold it to others, and then you'd have to take out Lora because she knew something? What do you guys think about that? That's crazy. Or maybe she was made to put on blue jeans or something. The day before, Lambert bought an airline. Let's see. So after Morris disappeared, her father, who piloted his own plane, flew to New Orleans, where he met with Lambert. So this is the guy that unsuccessfully tried to get in a, let's see, flew to New Orleans, where he met with Lambert at the French Quarter. Snedegar told investigators he saw Lambert get into a car with a blonde woman. Man, all of a sudden the dad's looking really bad, don't you think? I think the dad's looking shitty. Man, Lambert has not been seen since. The day before Lambert, I mean, look at, the dad is selling the tickets. Let's see. The dad is selling the oil business, and his daughter, who was a bookkeeper, is missing. Then the guy named Lambert, who was buying the business, but it, like somehow he's meeting with that guy in New Orleans, and then he disappears too. The day before, Lambert bought an airline ticket for his wife, called her, and made her arrangements for her to meet him in New Orleans. So likely that he wouldn't be hanging out with a blonde person. Charles Darwin Chuck Smith, a night townman, described as devoted to his wife and young children, had been a truck driver for the Snedegar family oil business. Oh, man. So now you've got this truck driver named Charles Smith, who is also missing. In August 1981, when Morris disappeared, Smith was working at a Cosaline service station on Greenfield's west side. Morris had been a regular customer, so Lora Morris would regularly go in there. Let's see, where we go. Oh, there we go. The Sunday before she was reported missing, Morris, so right before she went missing, Morris drove into the gas station with a man who had long, dirty hair, a tattoo on his arm, and a wallet on a chain. Smith later told police Morris appeared scared and the man prevented him from talking to her. So Morris is, Laura Morris is looking scared. So he's a witness and saw her with this guy, right? So voluntary polygraph tests and hypnosis supported his account. The following March, Smith was out of work. He received a call and was offered a job. Like, ooh. So they know that police have questioned him about what he remembers, right? So then, this fake thing, this whole thing here is fake. The following March, Smith was out of work. He received a call and was offered a job with John Rogers Trucking Company in Knoxville, Tennessee. This is all made up stuff. A bus ticket was purchased for Smith in Knoxville on March 27, 1982. It was waiting for him in Indianapolis. The next day, when his father drove him to the... so his father drove him the next day to the terminal, and the ticket was there. The dad was there. He's a witness. And then he also saw his son board the bus, and he hasn't been seen since. John Rogers Truck Company does not exist. So this is another setup of some sort. Wow. Man, what a crazy story. Morris's mother was Morris's mother was last seen in Florida in December of 1986. She was 49, so she would obviously know a lot of stuff too, right? The Snedegars were divorced in 1983. Oh boy, but lived together until late summer of 1986. Oh jeez. Miss Snedegar was in Indiana the day her daughter disappeared and the day the body was found. Man, this is... the dad looks like, the day Morris disappeared, Ricky Dean Akers, a school chum of Morris' ex-husband, was seen at Bryce Morris's Greenwood apartment. Oh, really? So Akers was at... That's crazy. So Lora Morris's dad, Bryce, that Akers guy that ended up being killed, he was at the day Morris disappeared. Ricky Akers, a school chum of Morris. Oh, maybe he's the guy with the long hair that was in that car, right? Yeah, so Ricky Dean Akers is the high school friend that they'd had a falling out regarding, and then he was shot by the FBI agents. This is crazy, man. The day Morris disappeared, Ricky Dean Akers, a school chum of Morris, ex-husband, a school chum of Morris's ex-husband. Let's see. The day Morris disappeared, Ricky Dean Akers, a school chum of Morris's ex-husband, was seen at Bryce Morris Greenwood apartment. Akers was an ex-convict and a fugitive wanted as a suspect in a series of burglaries involving rapes in Marion County. Investigators never had a chance to question Akers about Morris's death. In April of 1982, Akers was killed in a shootout with the Ohio Highway Patrol at a rest stop on I-70 west of Dayton, near the Ohio-Indiana line. John Munden, chief detective for the Hancock County Sheriff's Department, was the chief investigator in the Morris case. Although acknowledging the complexity of the case, Munden maintained the belief that it eventually would be solved, but an unusual turn of events led to Munden's early retirement before he could unravel the case. On September 17, 1981, about a month after Morris vanished, Munden was called to investigate the death of Gene Linder, a wealthy aircraft parts supplier in Linder's home north of Greenfield. Linder's slaying remains unsolved. Munden and Linder's widow, Neves, later married. Let's see, Munden and... Oh, wow, so he married a murder victim's... On September 7, 1980, about a month after Morris vanished, Munden was called to investigate the death of Gene Lindner, a wealthy aircraft parts supplier. And then that slaying remains unsolved, but Munden, the investigator, and Lindner's widow later married. What kind of a case is this? Would you quit typing that in, Zozo? I mean, just it. You can follow along here. It's not difficult. Munden and Lindner's widow, Neves, later married. So there's just this random case that he was given, a murder or a death of a guy named Gene Lindner. And so he was set to investigate it. Munden was. And then, it hasn't been solved yet, but he married the widow of this random guy, Lindner. Her arrests and the deaths of two former Marion County Sheriff's deputies. Let's see. Her arrest. Let's see. Let me go back over. Knives Munden, now in Lindner. God, now I have to go back up here. On September 17, 1981, about a month after Morris vanished, Munden was called to investigate the death of Gene Lindner, a wealthy aircraft parts supplier, in Lindner's home north of Greenfield. Lindner's slaying remains unsolved. Munden and Lindner's widow, Neves, later married. Neves Munden now Neves Munden now is serving a 5-year federal prison sentence for possession of cocaine. Her arrest and the deaths of two former Marion County Sheriff's deputies living in Hancock County sparked a state and federal probe into Munden's actions. So that's pretty crazy. So the investigator in the Lora Morris case marries the widow of another homicide victim, and she's been arrested for, man, have you ever heard anything like this? That's crazy. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it is pretty complicated, but if you're just kind of, I'm not zipping through this either. Investigators also found okay, here we go. Let's go back up. Her arrest and the deaths of two former, this Neves guy woman that Munden married was the wife of another homicide victim over here. And then she's now serving a 5-year federal prison sentence for possession of cocaine. Then it says her arrest and deaths of two former Marion County Sheriff's deputies living in Hancock County sparked a state and federal probe into Munden's actions. Deputies Phil W. Moore and Thomas J. Winkle, both 39, and Moore's dog were found shot to death in Moore's house. Okay, and so in one of the deputies' house, they were both found near Gem on August 18th, 1987. Let's see. Investigators also found a videotape reportedly depicting at least one Hancock County Sheriff deputy engaged in sex. Munden allegedly vowed to destroy the tape, but higher-ups intervened. The Moore Winkle deaths, although never fully explained, have been regarded as murder-suicide. The task force that investigated if Munden was involved in his wife's drug dealings, as well as his handling of the Moore, Winkle, and Gene Lindner investigations, found no wrongdoing on Munden's part. Munden now works in the aircraft parts business. What? Really? Isn't that what that was oil. What was I heard the aircraft parts earlier, though. Oh, yeah, that's the lady that he married. That's what her husband did. Jesus. Hancock County Sheriff investigators said no one has been actively working on the case since Munden left. Although the Morris case remains open, there have been no new leads. And yes, I know I'm reading everybody, but if you feel like you want to help support the channel during the reading times, that would be absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. Yeah, this definitely needs like a flowchart or something. But, I mean, I could sort of say it in my head, you know. I don't know the names, but, like, that's hard to remember the names of the people. Yeah, so you have a businessman that was in an oil business, and they were going to buy Bryce Morris, which is Lora Morris's dad. They were going to buy his oil business, but somehow, I guess that fell through. But then he visited, Bryce Morris visited him in New Orleans, and Bryce claimed that he was with this blonde girl there, and he's never been seen again. I mean, all these people have been, died or disappeared related to his oil business. Yeah, I haven't got to that part, Cindy. Jesus. Yeah, and she was the bookkeeper for this oil business. And then there was another individual, a guy that worked at a truck stop, who witnessed Lora Morris pull into the truck stop with this guy with longer hair, and she was scared. And then a few months later, a completely bogus job was offered to him and a bus ticket, and he was obviously he was murdered, okay, when he got somewhere, and nobody's ever found him. And then you have this Munden, the detective, who was taken off the case because he's married a widow of a case that he was working on, and then she was arrested for drug dealing and given 5 years in prison. And then there was 2 other police officers that were, they died. I mean, it is pretty crazy. And now also her mother's missing, right? So the mother's missing too. And obviously she would have had knowledge of the business. I mean, it's weird how they just kept doing stories on it. Morris murder case still a mystery. Yeah, it's pretty much the same as the last one. Disappearance. Prime suspect dies in Florida hospital. Stephen C. Snedegar, the father. I thought his name was Bryce. Who the hell is Bryce then? I guess now I don't know who Bryce is. Stephen C. Snedegar, the father of 1981 murder victim Lora Morris, has died of cancer in Florida just weeks before a grand jury was to question him about the disappearance of other persons connected with the Morris case. I thought a minute ago Bryce, maybe that's his nickname or something. Oh shit. Now I gotta go back. Holy crap. $19.90. How about this one right here? Oh no, Bryce is her. That's right. That was her ex-husband. Sorry about that. Yeah. So Bryce is her ex-husband, Bryce Morris, right? That's the one she divorced. Yeah. So the father, though, I think is the one behind all this stuff. Yeah, there it is. See, Morris was a bookkeeper. But I think in that case they're talking about Lora, not Bryce. Yeah, so the father, a grand jury. So they were looking into the father here. Delays and holidays bumped the inquiry to December, January, and recently in February. But Snedegar was admitted to the Halifax Hospital in Daytona, Florida, January 16th and died. I wonder how he died. With him may have died authorities' best chances of solving the 3 missing person cases. Officers from Hancock County Sheriff's Department, Indiana, State Police, etc., etc. A prosecutor's subpoena had already been issued for Snedegar in Florida at the time of his death. Thanks, Gummo! Jesus. It's like pulling teeth in here. $1994. Morris probe renewed. I think I'll just go. I'm going to go to the other. There was this other probe. I think, was it this one? Yeah, let's just do this one. Digging up clues. Will letter help solve Morris' death? At a quiet Ohio cemetery late Wednesday afternoon, a former Greenfield woman spoke to investigators from her grave, and police were hoping Thursday the message would help close a 13-year-old murder case. Hancock County authorities met with Ross County, Ohio officials Wednesday and exhumed the body of Lora Lynn Morris, the blonde, bright-eyed 22-year-old who disappeared from her rural Greenfield home in August 1981. Her badly decomposed body was discovered in a Shelby County cornfield some 8 months later. She was buried in her family plot in Chilcoth's Grandview Cemetery. When officials opened her casket 2 days ago, they discovered a black wooden jewelry box tied with burgundy ribbons sitting neatly in the center of the coffin, just as they'd hoped. And inside, perhaps the answer to one of the Hancock County's lengthiest mysteries. Who killed Lora Morris? The case remains an open investigation at the Hancock County Sheriff's Department and a personal quest for retired Chief Deputy John Munden. He's still there, huh? Who initially investigated Lora's disappearance and death as an HCSD detective. Through more than a decade, Munden followed leads and talked with witnesses and suspects, refusing to let the young woman's murder fade from memory, even after his own retirement from law enforcement. For several years, police had heard rumors that a box had been placed inside Lora's casket after her funeral and before it was sealed for its journey to the cemetery. But those were only rumors, and rumors don't get a body exhumed. A new witness, one only recently, new information, opened the door for Wednesday's events. A witness Munden would only say was close to the family came forward with something more than rumors. Munden said the witness saw Lora's mother, Gertrude Snedegar. Wow, and she's missing too. Writing a long letter the night before Lora's funeral. Trudy seemed very secretive and covered her writing as the witness approached. Nonetheless, Lora's name could easily be seen on the papers. The next day, just after the services for Lora had ended, the witness said Trudy gave a black ribbon tied box to family friend William Buck Estes of Newcastle and instructed him to place it in Lora's coffin before it was sealed. I think we might have to do this one again with a flow chart, as you guys requested. Thanks, Lisa L. I mean, this is right out of a movie, right? I mean, this is ridiculous shit right here. The next day, just after the service for Lora had ended, the witness said Trudy gave a black ribbon-tied box to family friend William Buck Estes, the witness said, instructed him to place it in Lora's coffin before it was sealed. Estes, the witness said, complied. This was more than rumor, more than second, third, or fourth-hand speculation. This was an eyewitness. The Morris murder case was never short of suspects. A handful of individuals have come under close police scrutiny, and there has been some circumstantial evidence to implicate all of them at one time or another. That list of possible suspects includes Lora's mother, Trudy. With that thought in mind, the black box and the letter in it might contain took on increased significance. Is Trudy's letter in the box? What might it say? Could it reveal key information about the murder? Working with his own son, Donnie Munden, now himself probably a detective. He's a sheriff, department detective, and Hancock County Sheriff Jim Bradbury, John Munden, contacted officials at the Ross County Sheriff Department in Chillicothe and told them his story. In a display of uncommonly efficient interagency law enforcement cooperation, Ross County officials were willing and eager to help. Ross County Sheriff William Knott, Detective Ernest Butterball, and County Coroner Dr. John Gavis lost little time setting the process in motion. The Sheriff's Department and the coroner in Ross County were very cooperative in helping us, Bradbury said Thursday. They did whatever they could to help get the paperwork through. It was sure a lot easier than them helping us then it would have been with us trying to do it with our own. Do it on our own. Thank you. Allison Cosgrove. Letter from the dead. The Mundens drove to Chillicothe Wednesday morning, planning to discuss the case further with authorities and lay the groundwork for what they hoped would eventually be the exhumation of Lora's grave and the search for the black box. But Coroner Gavis was already ahead of the game, and the Mundens learned after noon Wednesday that Ross County was ready to move on the case that day. John Munden called Bradbury and told him of the speedy events. The sheriff postponed his afternoon schedule and beat a path for Chillicothe. When Bradbury pulled into the Grayview Cemetery just before 6 p.m., a crowd of about 20 individuals, police, coroners, officials, cemetery workers, and reporters had gathered at the site. They were waiting for the Hancock County sheriffs to arrive. The grave had been opened, the earth turned away, the vault removed. There, revealed for the first time in 12.5 years, was Lora Morris's casket. As Bradbury stepped into the grave, Ross County officials opened the coffin, the black box plainly visible near the center. Wearing a protective rubber gloves, the sheriff reached in to the open casket and picked up the box. I mean, this is right out of like Indiana Jones or some shit. Are you kidding me? Cutting the faded burgundy ribbon with a borrowed pocket knife, Bradbury, accompanied by the Mundens, Sheriff Knott, and Detective Butterball, stepped away from the grave, and the crowd gathered under a nearby tree to view the contents. Inside was a handwritten letter, just as John Munden's witness had claimed, and 2 photographs which had been largely ruined by moisture. The letter, folded like standard business correspondence, was also soft and damp. It appeared very delicate and perhaps stuck together, but it was there. Police placed the box and its contents into a brown paper bag and closed it. as they would with other potential evidence in a homicide investigation. As officials discuss their steps and the day's events, cemetery workers began restoring Lora's grave. Hancock County's investigators returned home late Wednesday night and arranged for the letter to be examined by experts at an area forensic lab. Thursday afternoon, Bradbury indicated the document had been delivered, but it would likely be a week or longer before it could be opened, flattened, read, and analyzed. We don't know what the letter says, the sheriff said. It could pertain to the homicide, or could be a letter that a grieving mother would write to her daughter. But it's still one of the last threads we have to try to find out what happened to Lora. We hope the letter will shed light on the case and help us close a 13-year-old homicide. There's no evidence from the letter right now to say that anyone's guilty of Lora's murder. Even if the letter implicates Trudy, who won't be able to make any arrests because she's presumed dead. But it could let us clear an old case, Bradbury added. Lora Morris's murder was only the beginning for Munden and subsequent investigators. In less than 8 months after Lora disappeared, a former Carmel business associate of Lora's father, Steve Snedegar, Tony Lambert, and a former Snedegar employee from Nighttown, Chuck Smith, had both disappeared. Both seem to have connections to the Morris case. They are still missing. Trudy Snedegar never returned to her Florida's home after a night on the town with husband Steve in late summer of 1986. Oh, jeez. You guys don't think that husband is totally involved in this shit? So she goes out on a night on the town with her husband Steve, and she's missing. Her daughter is missing, who was the bookkeeper at her company, and would have seen maybe some shady business dealings. Then one of the people that was going to buy the oil company from Steve is missing. And then his wife is missing. And then there's a guy that, Laura's dead. His wife is missing. A person who was going to buy his business is missing. Lora was a bookkeeper. And then you've also got this guy that was at a truck stop that knew Lora and somebody else that he saw in the car with her when she was scared, and then he disappeared on a fake job offer and was just a setup, and he disappeared. Wow, that's crazy. Alex Cox couldn't think anything like any of this shit. And it says, just a few years ago, Steve Snedegar fell victim to cancer. He died in a Florida hospital and is buried in Chillicothe near his daughter. Yeah, she's probably spinning in her grave at this point. All right, I think this is the last one here. Which is 1994, October 18th. Police Monday offered a limited glimpse into the mysterious letter retrieved from an Ohio gravesite more than a decade after it was secretly placed inside a murdered woman's coffin. The letter discovered in the grave of former Greenfield resident Lora Lynn Morris was indeed written by her mother and addresses more than one topic detectives probing the 13-year-old homicide have confirmed. Interesting. Why would it address a whole bunch of topics if it was just a goodbye letter? Investigators still have declined to reveal the letter's detailed content, saying that the recent attention to the case has brought them additional information and now leads that must be examined before any specifics about the letter can be released. Acting on information from a source close to the family, police exhumed Morris's body from its place in Chillicothe, Ohio's Grandview Cemetery earlier this month. The witness had indicated Morris's mother, Gertrude Snedegar, one of the suspects in her daughter's death, had written a letter to Lora the night before her funeral. Trudy placed the letter inside a black jewelry box with some family photos and had family friend Walter Buck Estes put it in Lora's casket before it was taken to the cemetery, the witness had said. Authorities opened the grave and retrieved the box and its contents, hoping it would provide information that would help solve the 1981 homicide and the subsequent disappearance of at least 3 other individuals connected to the case. We can say at this time that the letter was written by Lora Morris's mother, Trudy Snedegar. Hancock County Sheriff Detective Donnie Munden said Monday. It is in her handwriting and discusses more than one suspect. Oh, really? The box also contained 3 photographs. He declined to elaborate. And those wouldn't be the 3 people that are missing, would it? Although we had hoped to release more information about the letter by this time, other unexpected developments. Well, she's one of the people missing. So maybe it's like photos that sort of tell a story. Who knows? Investigators encouraged about the case for the first time in several years say the reopening of Lora Morris's grave and the case in general has opened other doors. As important as the box and letters are, there are other developments that we expect will help us answer some of the questions and have surrounded this case for 13 years. Let's see. Said Munden's father, John Munden, a former HCSD chief deputy who initially investigated the Morris disappearance. He has maintained an active interest in the case since its beginning, even after he retired. Because of the recent activities surrounding this case, including the discovery of the letter and the increase in media attention, it has caused, in several states, several individuals have come forward with information that we had not known before. Both Mundens indicate Monday that there were several individuals, some new and some connected to the case from the start in Indiana and other states, who would be questioned as soon as possible. We now believe some of these individuals possess more information about one or more of the disappearances that they have previously admitted. We think it's time for them to tell us the whole truth, and we intend to give them the opportunity to do just that. Within weeks after Laura's disappeared, Tony Lambert, a former Carmel business associate of Laura's father, Steve Snedegar, disappeared from New Orleans after meeting with Snedegar. And Snedegar's the one that said, "Oh, I saw her with a blonde." A short time later, former Snedegar employee Chuck Smith of Knightstown also disappeared after a bus ride from Indianapolis to Knoxville, Tennessee, where he had been promised a job based on a reference from Snedegar. Both men are still missing, and that was also a fake job. It didn't exist. Trudy Snedegar never returned to her Florida home after a night on the town with her husband. Well, what does Steve say about that? In late summer of 1986, she has since been declared legally dead. Just a few years ago, Steve Snedegar fell victim to cancer. He died in the Florida hospital and is buried in Chillicothe near his daughter. Wow, that's a crazy one right there, don't you think? All right. Well, that's it, you guys. That's it. So thank you to Cheryl Bullock. I mean, I almost feel like I gotta do a well, I mean, right there at the end was a pretty good synopsis of it, right? Didn't that make sense to you? That's crazy, though. So for the people that were actually paying attention, it was probably pretty interesting. So thanks, Cheryl Bullock, Jillian Pearson, Kay Mead, Jim Lawn, Ashley Snow, Maxine Van Dyke, Rhea Mazzarone, Jim Lawn, Ashley Snow, Christy Lynn Snow, Catacomb Man, Jason Freer, Kay Me, Ashley Snow, Vicky Kennedy, American Lady, and even the Seaman, Maine, RC, who the hell knows how to say that? RCC Maine, Tactical Dragonfly, Eugenie, Kit Kat, Robin Berardo, Iris Rainbow, Lulu, I gotta go back way up there. Lulu, Kit Kat, Cindy J, Iris Rainbow, American Lady, Mag, thank you very much. Just Junie, Danielle, American Lady, Traveling Teresa, The Incredible Hulk, Kim Bear, a new member, American Lady, Cindy J, Ashley Snow with a cat eye, Mrs. C, CR, Craig, Gummo, Lisa L, Allison Cosgrove. Anyways, hope you guys found that show interesting. I did. What about you? And even the animation stuff that we were doing earlier. All right, everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I appreciate it. And thanks for helping to reach the goal. Tonight, we have a final night. There's no goal on donation night. We just have one last push. And, you know, everybody tries to help support the channel one last time. And then, boom, we start sending off portions of money. Or money to various places. This month might only be like 4 or 5, 4,000 something, but hey, at least it's something, right? All right, everybody, thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Oh, and by the way, the office is getting close to the end. And good seeing you, Mag, in there. Haven't seen you for a while. And thanks, everybody, for being here. And be safe out there. And where is it? And a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 5, and a 6. Uh-oh. There's no music. How come there's no sound? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, there it is.
Detector, gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector.
Start over.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gragel's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.
Hey, that was a Pac-Man game, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Pac-Man. Yeah, don't you remember?
Okay, bye!
Gosh, Craig, that's rude. That's so rude. You're so arrogant, Craig. God, you think you...
Oh, wow. Sound like a troll there, Mary Lou. Oh, there goes my stomach. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. And be safe out there.
Ooh la la. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sing it to me now. We're walking down the street and I had to stop. I got a radio and I dropped the top. Ooh la la. 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 Ooh la.
Anyways, all right, everybody. See you later.